K-9 dog, okay, attacks a homeless man who's inside of a church because the dog was trained by the police to attack human beings, and the police wanted this to happen. Let's put up his picture. He's blind. He's having a tough time in life. His name is Kyle. A Memphis man who is legally blind was attacked in the kitchen where he lived by a dog from the Memphis Police K-9 unit. Kyle Maxwell, on Wednesday, January 24th, 2021, at the First Congregational Church in Cooper Young, Tennessee. 6 Memphis police officers allowed a patrol dog to viciously attack him. He fell target to the attack after police were dispatched to the scene following a 911 call from church staff who reported a break-in at the premises by 2 men. Staff had notified the officers about a man living in an apartment above the main church building. Maxwell lived in a separate building north side of the premise, okay? They said, listen, there is somebody here you need to look out for, right? The officers entered the location, the hostel, unannounced. Maxwell was unaware of what was going on, had no idea. He said he didn't hear the officers enter the location. I was oblivious to everything that was happening, Maxwell said, reported WREG. I'm sure I was listening to a podcast. He was in the kitchen area when the dog attacked him. Video also shows a police officer acknowledging the mistake. They said, and I quote, "It looks really bad on us. We didn't intend to sick a dog on some guy making an effing snack," the officer said on his body camera. During the investigation, officers blamed the incident on the lack of clear information. All they were told was no one was supposed to be inside the building except for one person on the 3rd floor. Maxwell's attorney countered the claim, saying, and I quote, "There was no reasonable basis for them to be in this part of the building in the posture they apparently were. Officers weren't able to make any arrest or spot any suspects in the building that night." In the lawsuit, along with Memphis City, Maxwell also sued police officers for violating his civil rights. He's seeking $250,000 in damages. All right, I have always maintained we have to eliminate animals being used in policing. It's just a bad idea, okay? Here's the other dynamic. Obviously, when a police officer enters into a building, there's a level of investigative prowess that is required. Split-second decisions, understanding that someone just told you there's a person who may be in the building, they may be on this side, but they are around here. You use that in your determination. What they did to someone who was absolutely not a threat, you gotta remember this. You're only supposed to use that K-9 when the individual is such a threat, you are unable to combat it without physical danger to yourself. The man was no threat, he was just there making a snack. So the cops have already admitted they violated protocol. The man was making a snack and you put a dog on him. That's contrary to the rules of how you utilize and engage your K-9. Once again, policy is eaten alive by the culture every day. That was their culture. Ben, thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, this is just really, really unfortunate because think about it. Like if you're a police officer, you're doing an investigation, you hear there's a burglary, right? Somebody who is committing a burglary isn't out to commit a murder, right? They're out to steal things, right? And stealing is wrong. We all acknowledge this. But just because somebody's stealing things doesn't mean that they want to murder somebody. So if you're a police officer going into a building where somebody's committing a burglary, right? You can probably afford to be slow with it and say hey, I'm the police, I'm here. Are you a burglar burglaring things, right? That's it, right? You shouldn't have to come in guns blazing. Oh my goodness, sicking dogs on people. That's ridiculous. They say, oh, we weren't given enough information. We weren't given enough details. I don't believe them and I don't care. Your job is to figure out the information. Your job is to figure out what is going on and to respond to the situation that actually exists in the world. It's not to invent a fantasy in your head and then respond to that fantasy, because that's what puts people in danger. And unfortunately, that is what police officers think their job is.
This is the result of high power, low accountability. This is your result.